just made the list.
Welcome, everyone, to You Just Made the List, a new podcast where friends come together to make a list about anything and everything here at VGU. This is our first recording, so please bear with us if we have to make any corrections as we go along here. But joining me today for the first episode is Graydon Webb. Graydon, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm happy that now we've had this idea for quite some time, and now that I'm well versed in wrestling, I understand the reference. Like
That's actually I was gonna say that's actually how this all began. Is like me just sitting in the shower, like just thinking of like my favorite promo artist from wrestling, and that one came up. I'm like, wait a minute, I could make a list of all these. Oh my god, you just made the list. And
it's so good. And as I've like done, I'll go on little tangents of wrestling and just fall down different rabbit holes. And one of them has been like gimmicks in general. And people kind of can't decide if they like that gimmick or not. like half the people are like, oh yeah, the Jericho's list was awesome. And then other people are like, it was the dumbest thing anyone's ever done.
oh, I love it. I love it so much.
Well, we have lists of our own, and I'm excited for the idea of this show because I've already written down quite a few ideas for it. It's fun to have like kind of like a live roundtable discussion that we can all just chat about various things, and it doesn't have to be tied to video games, which is cool, and we can just kind of do whatever. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna like put together kind of like, I don't want to say an episode 0 because it's not gonna be that long, but just kind of like a breakdown as to like how this whole thing works, so we don't have to like break down the rules every episode for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's just like the idea of like any of us being able to get together, anyone can host. You can bring, any friends on who's not even a part of the site. Just a reason to get together and just talk about stuff. And I don't know, I just kind of like the idea, especially with like a round table and game of the year sort of format. I just think it'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, I thought it would be interesting if we could try it.
I love it. I'm excited for the inevitable book club conversation where we just chat about young adult fiction.
Yeah. Get some, what was it, Magic Treehouse?
God, wait. Oh, God. You're bringing me back. Speaking of lost episodes.
I was gonna say, I think back in my day, it was like Wayside Story from Wayside School or something like that.
You have Boxcar Children or whatever.
I remember that. I never
Babysitter's
read
Club.
them, but Babysitter's Club, the Hardy Boys. I was always more of a Goosebumps and Animorphs kid.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Well, that's for our book discussion.
For book make the list. But today's list, we are doing something different. And Gray, this was actually your idea. Do you want to kind of introduce it?
Yeah, we're a little late on it. We had some trouble scheduling and stuff, but we wanted to make sure that we did something for Pride, something Pride related, because we have some queer writers of our own or people on the staff, and we're all allies here of some kind, and so we wanted to do something, and I had the idea of best queer representation in games. So it was kind of a vague ask of the people involved with the list, but we were like, what are good games that either have good representations of relationships or lifestyle of queer people, and just show that in the medium of video games specifically. So we gathered things up, and this there's kind of no rhyme or reason to our lists, but today we're trying to do. I believe our plan is we have about four each, and then we're gonna kind of come up with one of them, and then I guess to kind of intro into it, we did have a lost episode where Alan was on it for a bit of time, and they had some choices as well, and were able to talk about their first pick, which was Fallout, and kind of the Fallout series in general, but I think it was mainly about New Vegas. Um, so I'm going to include here at the top of the show Alan's pick being Fallout. And then I guess when that is done, we will come back to Josh and myself and we'll add our picks. So enjoy the beautiful voice of Alan Muir.
I'll start off with the easy one because everyone talks about it. The way that the depiction of queer individuals in Fallout New Vegas. It's not something how Obsidian took a more they took a more mature approach to the entire concept in Fallout New Vegas, like when compared to Fallout 3. In Fallout 3, there was a perk called Lady Killer, and that was mainly that perk was basically like you're a ladies' man, and that was just it's pretty much just stop there. But New Vegas like full on pushes further with the whole thing. With like in both the main characters or no the protagonist and various characters throughout the series, or not the series, the game. So Arcade Gannon, the way that he is represented, not his entire identity, nor something brought up. It's just how he is. That's all. And honestly, the most heartbreaking one in the entire game, Christine Royce and Veronica Santangelo, portrayed respectively by technically Christine has two voice actresses, Veronica Belmont and Laura Bailey. Yeah, and Veronica is voiced by Felicia Day. And as well as that, like as well as those characters, there are two perks in game that let you play that basically give you the ability to role play a queer character better than just almost every game I've played. There's still a couple that the best one you're better off playing is honestly New Vegas because 3 is no, I'm not gonna go on a whole tirade about Fallout 3 and 4. I've done that enough. But that is my. I'm just happy that Fallout New Vegas is the first of my picks.
Yay, Alan. Thank you.
I was gonna say I could have tried to say something, but I have no idea what all they said. So I was like,
I mean, as someone who's never played a Fallout, it was interesting. I always like Alan's Fallout tangents because Alan
oh
can talk
yeah,
about Fallout for days.
yeah, they
But
love some Fallout.
yeah, and I had nothing to add, and I was just like, well, sounds like they're pretty great games. but I'll let you take the lead on the first one because I have to go quickly do an aforementioned thing that I will be muting myself for, and I will
Okay,
be here in spirit for your pick.
alrighty. So I guess the first one I will do is Mother 3. Specifically, the ones that are in there are the Magypsies, who are the magic folk, who are kind of like gender fluid drag queens of the game. And they're kind of like these protectors of the island that are there to kind of guard these needles from being pulled out to awaken the dark dragon. And it's like they don't like they play a huge role without being like main characters in it. They've essentially adopted one of the main characters you play with. Again, they're guardians of the whole thing. But it seems like really crazy that I want to say this was because they were originally supposed to be part of Earthbound 64, and then when it moved over to the Game Boy Advance, like in the mid 2000s, the idea of these like you know drag queens essentially is what they look like. Very masculine looking, but they're in very flamboyant sort of outfits and all that. Very stereotypical kind of queer individuals. But like back in the day, that's kind of not something you would see a whole hell of a lot. And I know a lot of people thought they were problematic for the community, but I kind of like scoured the interwebs just to see like the general position of it, and it seems they're well regarded within the LGBTQ community as to what they represent. So I thought they would be a good fit here. The name itself could probably use a little bit of a correction since it does kind of have a slur with I think it's a Romanian
Yeah,
group,
that is strange because it's like, oh, we have good representation of these people, but like they never would have expected that would ever be a problem, but here we are.
Yeah, but so yeah, like the whole thing, like a lot of people think it's problematic, whereas the community themselves don't really see it as an issue, and just the idea that they're in there in the first place is pretty great considering the time they were in. Um, but when I was like looking through it, I ran across a quote from Itoy, who was like the creator of the Mother series, and he mentioned this about them. And the interviewer says they really are some fantastic people. And he says, it's because the world in the game is so macho. The good guys in the game are strong and they fight. The same goes for the bad guys. So, in other words, it's set up so that might equals right. Power is beautiful. And amid all of that, there are these non men yet non women people who have already gone so far as to accept their fate of death. If these characters really existed, I would want people to play Mother 3 not to act hostile towards them. I would want them to have fun together in a world they both share. And considering like the time we live in right now where that is not kind of the mindset that a lot of people give to the LGBTQ community, the fact that Itoy is sitting here saying this like in the mid 2000s or whatever, it's and the whole Magypsies are based on like his friends at the time, like his own personal like friends that resemble them and everything. I don't know. I just think it's really cool that this Nintendo game from the mid 2000s have this representation of a group of people that don't normally see that, especially in Japan, of all places, where I feel like that's even more kind of not something you would typically see.
Yeah, that is very interesting how progressive that was for the time, and to kind of draw from experience is very neat.
Yeah, and I don't think he really touched on too much of that kind of stuff in the previous games. Like I know in the second game, like it's kind of hinted at that there might be some uh like gay interest between two kids, but it's never really like focused on. Whereas here, it's like right front and center. Like you're not gonna overlook it. It's a thing, and you just got to accept that these people exist in this world, and ideally you'll like them. And they're very likable characters in the game too.
I feel like um, with that series, I mean, people have wanted a new Earthbound for ages, but I feel like because you're dealing with like schools stuff, if they made a new one, they would try to include a lot more like
Oh yeah,
LGBT representation, which would probably piss a lot of people off because it deals with kids and then they get all pissy about it. But
yeah,
but I think that could be a really interesting, like, not interesting direction because I don't think it would have anything to do with it, but I would like to see that inclusion going forward, especially when you have a diverse group. Because I mean, I appreciate that, and I know that everybody gets all up in arms about like, oh, why did you have to include somebody like this? But we do it because people exist like that, and
Hmm.
like it's kind of a a normal thing to have a group of friends that are minorities or LGBT or women. Can you believe a
God
woman in this
forbid.
group? God forbid. But like these people exist, and so I think that whenever you see a group of a diverse group like that in games, it's really interesting. And I like that, especially in that time, they said we're going to include these people in this game and not make them like awful villainous people.
Hmm.
So that's good. I like that. I like that choice a lot. Should I include my first pick?
Yeah, I think you are good to go for number, I guess it's 3.
Okay. Um, I will preface the majority of these games, well, half of them, I haven't played in a while. I really just kind of looked at my favorite games lists and then I was like, yeah, that has some good stuff in there. And I just mentioned it. So like they're dear to me and I remember them in that regard, but I'm a little foggy on some details.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
But
lie, I kind of did something similar.
yeah.
Like, it's been about 10 years since I last played this game, but I know I really liked it a lot.
I mean, I wanted to be like, oh, I could include, games kind of like what I was just saying. A lot of games today have groups that have diverse, like, or queer people in them. Like, but I wasn't gonna just pick Dustborn or something for the sake of having people like that. Like, I wanted to really focus on. I think this is done well and really unique to the medium. So, my first pick kind of felt like a given in terms of queer games, but it's Tell Me Why, which is
Oh, mhm.
a Don't Nod game from a while ago. I did talk about this on the Lost episode as well, because Alan had some things to say about it as well. We're both big fans of it. Did you play WY?
I did not. That's one of those games, like, I don't know. I just have to be like in the right mood to play like a don't nod game at this point. Like early on,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been all for it, and now it's just like I have to. If I do it, I have to devote that amount of time in one playthrough because I don't like splitting it up, and that's just hard for me to do.
Yeah, you're not big into those, right? Like a Life is Strange or anything.
Um, when I play them, I am. I
Oh,
know there's going to be a game this year that we'll talk about later in Game of the Year time that I will be going hard for. Uh, but yeah, usually it's just I
oh,
just don't have time for them typically.
understandable. Um, But yeah, tell me why. I mean, it's kind of Life is Strange esque. I wouldn't even say adjacent. It's just like it's made by the same company, but it's totally different series. Um, 3-part episodic series, and I wanted to mention because Alan had reminded me they usually bring it around. Well, now it's too late probably, but they usually bring it around for free during Pride Month. Um, Either if not just on Steam, then all places you can find it. But it's I think the first episode is free most of the time, and then the other two you might have to pay for. But totally worth it. It's a story about a sister and a brother who is trans that come back together after not seeing each other for a long time, and they go back to their hometown to deal with a mystery regarding their mother. Um, I I want to say that it's about their mother's passing. Like I think that is I think that's not a spoiler that their mom is dead. I think the big mystery is like how did it happen? And then it just kind of unfolds through the town, through the story. But yeah, where it stands out as a cool queer representation is through this trans character that is played by a trans actor, and it really touches on like their experiences in general. There's romance options where you can kind of go into that, and there's just a lot of talk about their growing up because the sister, I believe, when they were younger, the brother was like already like having trans feelings, so like that wasn't like a surprise when they came back together or anything, but it kind of touches on like, oh, this is how life was growing up and the people in town how they reacted, and it just it's part of the story, but it's not the story. And it's just done really well. It's handled really well. No surprise to me because Don't Not always handles things like this very well, as I'll mention later on. But yeah, I feel like this is kind of an essential one for this list, and it's where my mind went first because I was like, this is the perfect narrative uh, LGBT representation game, and I'm happy that we've got it here solidified on our list.
Yeah, I had no doubt like Dona was going to show up on this list. I feel like they're always kind of toying around. Seems like a dismissive idea about it, but like they're not afraid to put these kind of individuals in their games,
Mhm,
especially knowing like some of the backlash that can come from it. So knowing that
mhm.
they're like don't matter, like these people are out there, and we're going to tell stories about them because they deserve to have stories told about them too. And so I always like that they you know do that in their games.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome, and hopefully, of course, I mean, I as a cis straight male, I don't have the ability to say I think this is perfect representation.
Yeah,
I mean, both of us here are not the the demographic of which we are hoping to hype up here, but I think that from this community, the fandom that I've seen, the I mean, even just with the most recent Life is Strange reunion and how they wanted, this relationship, this lesbian relationship to really come to fruition, there's a lot of people out there who hope for this representation in these games. And I think that they do it well. They have a good track record. So what is next upon your list? And while you do that, I'm gonna try to change microphones.
okay. So the next one, uh, I was really hesitant about doing this one, but I feel like it kind of has like a sort of importance to this list, and that's Fear Effect Retro Helix, the second Fear Effect game. Uh, the problem with me putting on this list is that so much of the ads was about the sexualization of the two characters. Um, it was very like male focused. One of the characters, her name is Hannah. She's bisexual. In the first game, I can't remember if she was married or dating or something, a man. And then in this game, she's with Rain, who is a lesbian. And all of the ads leading up to it is like, oh, they're, hot lesbians. They're gonna all sexual and stuff. And, you know, it, it's kind of like a gross representation of the whole, uh, you know, lesbians have to be hot sort of thing. But I wanted to put it on here because it was like one of the first games I really remember like drawing attention to not just one main character being a part of the community, but that there's like an actual couple. There's a relationship that's like front and center of this like big game. In the game itself, like there's one kissing scene in it, but for the most part, it's like not an issue throughout the rest of it. Like the marketing is essentially completely different than what they show in the game. Um, Hannah is like very protective of Rain, so it's like her always trying to, um, just be protective of her, trying to save her and all this. It's just a form of affection and all that. But yeah, just it's really weird to have the marketing like go super strong about this, sexy Lara Croft characters and all this. And then the game itself, while they're still, titillized, throughout the game, the like relationship between them is not as like grossly sexualized in it the way the marketing would lead you to believe. So I don't know. Like I said, it's a weird list to put this on, but I think from just kind of like the importance of kind of bringing this to the mainstream in a way in video games, like I had not really seen prior to it. So I wish they had done it better, but the fact that they did it at all, I think is worth kind of saying something.
All right. Do I sound different?
A little bit, but good.
Hell yeah. That was when you first started saying it, I was like, that's a crazy pick. Like, I would not. The only fear effect that I've ever heard is Fear Effect Sedna.
Oh, yeah.
And that wasn't good, right?
It was not. No, people hated that game.
So I'm like, I don't even know that it's like a bigger series. But when was that from? Like, around what year?
Oh God, it was on the PS1, so I would have said maybe around 2000, 99, 2000 maybe.
Okay, that's crazy.
Well, yeah, like all the ads were just like, oh, here's two women, a whole bunch of cleavage. They're kind of like hanging all over each other. Some sexual innuendo marketing line on there, but yeah, like the game itself was not that hard pressed to sell you on that sort of stuff. So I don't know. It was just like this weird whiplash effect that I think probably took a lot of people by surprise. But like even the creator was like, "Yeah, we had no part in the marketing, and we don't really know why they went so hard on that." But
well, I can picture like X-Play like hyping that up or something. Like,
yeah,
like a G4 show just being like, haha, girls kissing.
yeah,
Everything was like that then. Jeez, but I'm glad that it had some cool, some better representation than just that. It wasn't just for the shock factor of can you imagine girls kissing in a video game?
It could have been real bad, but yeah, it was nowhere near like what everyone I think was led to believe it would be. That's my number 4.
Yeah.
What would you have as number 5?
So I'm going to add another one that kind of it was a surprise to me when I found out it was a queer game, and I feel bad for saying that, but like in the years after, I've learned about it and I find it fascinating and really want to go back and watch it. Much like how did I mention when I watched that movie I saw the TV glow? Have you heard of that movie?
I have seen that movie. Yeah, it was weird.
I can't believe you've seen it.
Like, yeah, a lot of people were talking that up. What was it, like 3 years ago?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let me watch it. I'm like, I don't like the main actor guy in it, but okay, I'll give it a try. Yeah, it was weird.
So I also thought it was pretty crappy, and I was like, what am I watching? And then after the fact, I learned that like the whole movie is a trans allegory. And I don't know if you like watched it with anything.
I have not, no.
Okay. I believe that the character that the main guy talks to, the person that has the like obsession with the show, I believe that they're either trans or non-binary. So it's kind of like this sharing like their feelings with each other and like learning what they're going through. But the entire movie is, I believe, made by a trans person and is supposed to be like an allegory to the experience. So it's made me want to rewatch it, even though I was like, ooh, that was rough, because now if I see it while thinking that, I might be able to respect it a lot more.
Yeah.
But in a similar vein, my next pick is Celeste.
Yeah, that was on my list too.
Really?
Yes.
And And that is a game that has been just engulfed by the like queer community, because like even people that I don't think are gamers have played this game that like are queer. And it's so interesting to me because it's not a super accessible game. Like if you were
No.
the kind of person that isn't playing, like I'm not a big gamer, you're not going to jump into Super Meat Boy and be like, "Oh, give this a shot." But I hear the story's good. But that is basically what it is. Like the gameplay is very akin to Super Meat Boy, and it has a trans, like the main character is trans, and I believe from what I have read, it's been a while, but from like video essays and things I've seen, I think the primary antagonist, which is like this shadowy being, like this mirror self, is kind of to explain how they are like at like body dysmorphia, or like they're at war with themselves in a way, trying to figure out like how they are. And like again, I've wanted to replay this game for years. Just I've had it on the IBC list for many, the Indie Book Club list for many years, and that'll be fun when I get Alan to play that game. Like, I feel like Alan will get very frustrated with the gameplay of that game, but
Well, it's also pretty accessible in that like gives you ways to get past a level if you're not that kind of gamer too.
true, there
Like
are
there's
like
plenty of accessibility options there.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess after like saying that, I'll kind of spin it to you to say a little bit about it if it was on your list.
It was, yeah, like it was one of those things where again I learned much later on that whole story about it. Because it was what is her name? Maddie Thorson. And like the whole thing was like as she was writing the story is kind of like her um, anxiety and self doubt, all the feelings that she was having at that point, um, as she was like coming to acknowledging that she was trans. It just like all that being funneled into the story and like the inner struggle with oneself. Uh, it's just I want to say like didn't a lot of this stuff like get hinted at in the main story, then like all the DLC like really confirmed it.
Probably. I don't know honestly if I played the DLC.
Yeah,
So
I didn't
wow.
either. I remember I know there was like I had seen an image of her in her bedroom and there was like the a trans flag. There was a photo of her and her mother, but like little Madeline was it looked like a boy. I think there were like oh, what's the term? Estrogen meds were like on a table too, and so
Oh,
like all just like putting a stamp on it, like yes, she is trans. I think it was confirmed that she ends up dating Theo's sister in it as well. Um, and then you could even see the change with the developer too, because I think the original studio name was like Matt Makes Games or something like that, and then that ended up changing to Maddie Makes Games once you know,
really?
yeah.
Oh, that's
So
very cool.
yeah, so there's just like a lot of cool stuff, like not only within the game, but also with the developer themselves. And I want to say the composer of the music is a part of the community too. I can't remember uh, what they identify as, but yeah, just like all the stuff about this game that kind of like you said, you just want to go back and play it and see if you can like see all the things you missed the first time that reference everything.
Yeah, the composer's also trans. I looked up Celeste composer, and the first result was not paid, which doesn't bode
Uh
well.
oh.
But I won't speak to that. Well, that's really neat. That's I don't know. I love any kind of game that can be seen as like a memoir that isn't necessarily one. Like it's just, oh, I wanted to put this into my experience. I mean, hell, I like memoir games anyway. Like the biggest one that comes to mind is Venba. Like that's just a game about I wanted to tell the story of my childhood and like my mom's cooking, and so I made a video game about it. Despelote, another one, but like this to have a game like this and have it be, um, telling their story is really interesting, and not one that it wasn't, at least without the DLC, it wasn't like super in your face in a way that I even realized. So it's like it's such a subtle subcontext is the word. Subcontext. But I like it. It's very good.
Yeah, I can't wait till you go on the IBC about that, because I might try and hop in on that one too.
Yeah, I mean, now I wonder if we should do the DLC too.
Yeah, yeah.
You may go with your next one. Yes.
Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to decide between these two. I mean, they're both going to be on here anyway, so I'm going to go with the Last of Us games.
Ah. Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even think about that.
But yeah, like I think yeah. I mean, the original had it with Bill and Frank, and then there was the DLC Left Behind with Ellie and I think it was Riley, and then the second game with Ellie and, was it Dinah or Dina?
Dina, yeah. And
Yeah,
then
so like they're,
also shout out to the show for the Bill and Frank like episode that was like huge.
oh, see, I haven't even seen that one. They had their own episode.
Yeah, I think it's like the third episode of the series, which I never got around to watching, which I hate. But I remember when it was on, it was a big thing because more than the game did, it focused on them for like a whole episode, and kind of I don't know. There's some kind of tragedy that strikes there. I don't know what it is, but I believe it really focused on like their relationship, and it was just beautifully made. It might have been nominated for like an Emmy or something.
Yeah, I still need to get around to watching that. Because yeah, because if I remember right, in the main game, Bill and Frank, like it wasn't really explored upon too much. Like I know there were like notes and stuff, but was it Frank was already dead at that point, if I remember right? Yeah, because Bill finds his body. Um, yeah, just like the way they go about it, like it's never like the Ellie thing was a surprise because that was all in the DLC. I don't think anyone really knew that in the first game.
Yeah.
And that was like the big shocker moment in the DLC that I think left a whole bunch of people kind of pissed when they realized they couldn't dream about Ellie in that regard anymore. Yeah, first game, Bill and Frank. I did see something about it that the original actor of Bill, like, I guess the way that it was written, like there wasn't a whole lot of like character there necessarily. But to look it up who the actor was. But W. Earl Brown. Yeah, W. Earl Brown, like I guess like during the table read, he specifically made it to where like the queerness of the character was a lot more, I guess, noticeable in how it was read. Because I guess Druckmann had like no intention of that being a thing. And then as they were doing the table reading, I think that's when they started to kind of like add in a little bit more and more to make that relationship a more subtle thing.
Huh.
And then of course in Last of Us 2 you have Ellie and Dina and their relationship, and it felt like a real relationship. It didn't feel like a contrived kind of gay representation. It was like, yeah, these are just two people who love each other and they have their issues that kind of become even more problematic as the game goes on. But
Pretty big issues there, my man. No, I remember that I want to say that was, and I may be wrong, that was one of the E3s that I was able to see like in a movie theater with people.
oh
And
yeah,
the reveal of that. and it was just like the long. It might not be the intro cutscene, but it's like it's in the game, and you see Ellie at the dance, and then she kind of walks over and she like kissed Dina on the dance floor,
Mm-hmm.
and like it just solidifies it. You're just like, this is it. We're here. This is how she is. This is a different Ellie than we know, and we like this is our new Ellie, and like this is situation. And like it's awesome. And then yeah, you proceed to like she's your sidekick for what feels like forever in that game. I mean, I remember when I first I waited way too long to really jump into that game, and I dabbled with the beginning for so long, and I remember going on a players club and being like, when does this like kick off? Like when do we really get into it? And, like I had seen the redacted death, I think, but
Mm-hmm.
then once you're in the Seattle and you do like 3 days of like riding a horse all around that fucking place. And Emmett's like, it should be like day 3 that it really gets big. And I'm like, I'm on day 1 still. Like, what are you talking about? But all this to say, that's the fault of the game at hand. That has nothing to do with their
Yeah.
relationship. And I enjoy watching their relationship progress as it goes along. And then once day 3 comes around, and I think that's when the drama really begins, it's always kind of there. And it's interesting because that game is like defined by the part Ellie, part Abby, and all of Ellie's story really revolves around the drama of their relationship there, of her and Dina.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always there. It's a big part of the game, and it's again done really well.
I also like the idea that this is like one of Sony's tentpole games. It's like one of the biggest games in the industry, and you have a lead LGBTQ character, front and center. And it's
Yeah,
like it didn't matter. The game was still huge. Went off, had its own series on HBO, and I know we're going to get a part 3 at some point, more than likely. And yeah, the fact that it's like this big thing in the industry, led by a character like Ellie, I think is really awesome.
yeah. And I mean that's if you're gonna like the big thing is to put that to put queer representation front and center in a way that's like you we're here literally we're here, get used to it. And
Yeah.
you see a lot of it in like indie games, and people just think, oh well, that's the smaller things. It's not no one cares about those. And then it's like, this is, I mean, we kind of thought we might get something with that Uncharted DLC with the 2 girls. I think there was
Oh
like
yeah.
some like, thought there. And then there was like, nope, they're not doing it. And then Naughty Dog goes and does this, and it's like, no, you're doing it. And then it looks like in the new one there might be like a non-binary character or something in that Prophet game that they're working on. I forget what it's called, Neon Prophet or something. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
can't
talking
remember. I feel like it's been forever since it was shown.
about? If we ever see that game, then there might be more representation in it. But yeah, it's cool that like one of your flagship franchises has a gay character. Like it's really cool to see that.
Yeah, the stuff can't be normalized if people don't start normalizing it in the first place.
Yeah, we gotta make Master Chief gay.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's all I ask. Oh, should I jump to what is it? 7?
Number
6?
7.
Okay. So I just brushed up on my knowledge so that I could be sure that I was right. But my next pick is one of my favorite games ever, Gone Home.
Damn it.
Is that on yours?
That was on mine too.
Oh, no, we're gonna have to think of more. Oh man, you play Gone Home? You like Gone Home?
Gone Home was great.
Gone Home. I think I've said it to death on podcast, but I'll speed run that. Gone Home. Everybody in my school, not in my whole school, in my friend group, shit all over it because it was like, well, their big thing was that it was getting this masterpiece like review score, and it's finishable in 5 minutes, which is
Mhm.
completely true. But for someone who had never really given any walking sim, like this, I think was my first real like walking sim type game. And I I was homesick one day, and I had my mom's shitty laptop, and the thing like just stuttered all over the place. And I was like, well, we had a cracked version of Gone Home. Like we had like as we were distributing it amongst each other to play the 5 minutes and to make fun of it. But I was like, no, I'm gonna really play this. I'm gonna really play this game. And absolutely fell in love with it. It brought me to tears. And I was like, yep, this is a masterpiece. And in the simplest of terms, it's a game about a girl coming home to find her family house abandoned. And through context clues and searching the house, you find where the family is gone and what has happened in the time since she, I think, studied abroad. And the big queer hook of it is that her sister falls in love with this girl who she like kind of like idolized as a friend and then turned into romantic feelings. And her family like totally disowned her, like did not approve of anything going on, and it was a big issue. But your protagonist didn't really keep up with her sister or her family like that, and just didn't know what was going on. And then by the end of it, I guess spoilers, but you just kind of find that the sister ran away with this girl. And it's a short little experience, but the way that it tells its story through like voiceover dialogue and just finding clues, like it's one of those pick up everything and really explore this house type games. And it's I found it super fun to play. And you're mapping out this story through your own, you can totally miss stuff and obviously beat it in 5 minutes, or you can let yourself experience this whole game. And I just found it to be this beautiful story.
Yeah, I remember because at that time when the game came out, it was only on PC and I had no way to play it. But
Mhm.
everyone talked so highly about the game. So I knew with like this, with the twist or whatever it was, the big reveal at the end and all that. And so when I finally did get to play it, I was like, okay, let me just see what this game is. And I think you're going around this dark house and it's storming outside and you'll find some stuff about like notes about like a ghost haunting and all this stuff, and like it kind of like almost puts you like in the mindset like this is going to be like a horror game of sorts. But then on this other side, it's like the story that you just said about her sister and not being you know appreciated and recognized how she should be at home, and finding the love from another person that she wants to end up being with in the future and all that. And I just left it like, this holds up. Even knowing everything going into it and playing it for the first time, I still loved it. It's such a fantastic game.
Sorry, I moved and I literally snared my hand in my own mic cord. Oh my god, like I would pull away and it tightened. I was like, dear God, I feel like I'm in a bear trap. Um but yeah, no, it's funny, like I hold that game in such a high regard for what it is that I completely always forget that there is uh, that like psych out of it being a horror game. Like it's you really do think you're going into like this Resident Evil mansion and you're gonna find stuff, and there's one infamous jump scare in it
Oh,
that that like makes you think, oh, they knew, they were fully aware of the fact that they had you entranced by the sense and ambiance of the world. But um Yeah, it's just so great in its environmental storytelling.
It really is. I feel like because that's the same studio that ended up doing. Is it What Remains of Edith Finch?
No, they did
Is that a different studio? Okay.
they did Tacoma after this,
Oh,
which
that's right. Yes.
is the space game that's also a great narrative story. And then they did I don't think they did a third game because this was Fulbright and they had some really rough studio drama that made them kind of fall apart.
Oh,
And then I believe the reason I liked Wanderstop so much was because ex Fulbright people worked on it.
mm.
But Edith Finch, I think Gone Home was only published by Annapurna in its like console ports, and Edith Finch is an Annapurna published game as
That's
well.
probably why I'm mixing it up.
But who developed Edith Finch? Giant Sparrow. They did Unfinished Swan. But they did
Yeah, I
that.
loved it. I loved it. Fish one too. God.
They haven't done a game in 9 years. It's about damn time. Oh, as of 2024, the studio remains with only 3 developers.
Oh, well, that would explain it.
Receives support from Santa Monica Studios. Isn't that the God of War?
Yeah, that's God of War. Sony.
That's crazy.
Huh.
I mean, they were. I mean, Unfinished Swan was a Sony exclusive, but at the beginning. But I don't think Edith Finch was. That was
I think it
multi-platform.
was.
Yeah, it's on Switch and iOS and everything. Crazy. Yeah, or Fulbright, but we'll always have Gone Home.
And hopefully we get to that in IBC too. I need a reason to replay it again.
Gone Home. That would be fun. Yeah,
That would be
fun. Well, what's next on yours?
Oh, okay. Well, I was sitting here thinking about it as you were going over Gone Home. I think I'm going to pick Stardew Valley. So there will be like, it's not really focused so much on like the relationship aspect of it, but you can, romance same-sex individuals in the town and everything. But the thing I like about Stardew Valley is that you basically can marry them, you can have kids with them, you essentially have a family that you can start in the game. And so like whereas the story itself in most of these games is like kind of told to you, you can basically do your own stories here. You can figure out what they like to eat. You can romance them in specific ways, and they each have their own little character stories that they go through as they, level up their romance meter and all that. And so just the idea that they like have a game that just like it fully encapsulates kind of what is just like the simulation of like having your own home and a farm and living in a small town, and it doesn't like restrict you from having the romance and love options there, kind of similar to what they do in like so many like major RPGs where there is still like a romance option, but this isn't just like a sex thing. This is like, hey, you're gonna come home, we're gonna be a family sort of thing. And I like that like extra extension of like, a relationship, and go home, you can kiss them before bed, and maybe they'll fix you like dinner or something. Just, I don't know, it just feels more kind of like a wholesome romance option for the LGBTQ. It doesn't matter like if you're straight or queer or whatever. It just feels more wholesome and just real than so many other games offer. And that you get to actually like play through the whole thing as opposed to just kind of like, I don't know, just say nice things to them, and eventually they'll want to get in bed with you. And yeah.
And having never played it myself but have watched people play it, is it one of those things where you can like all of a sudden just be like, I'm gonna go now be with this guy? Or is there like a full on like you are now my partner for this playthrough type thing?
You could technically divorce that person and get with somebody else. There is like this kind of funny thing where I've never had it happen, so you have to try and remember what I saw online about it. But basically, there is something where like if you romance multiple people, that there can be a scene where they all get together in like one thing and surprise you, and they're like, "Oh, so see you've been around," or, just kind of like make mention that like you're
You get
like
called
we
out
know.
on,
Yeah.
you get called out on sleeping around. That's crazy. And we saw you fucking that swamp thing that lives in the sewers. We looked through the bars. We know that you fucked the swamp thing. Because can't you? There's a monster, right? That lives there and you can marry him.
I can't remember if you can. Again, I have not tried it. I'm very set in my ways. I am a penny guy all the way. But yeah, there are different creatures in the game that you might be able to romance.
Like, listen, brother, I don't know. Penny's got my heart and I belong to
She's
her.
the nice girl next door. I just love her. But no,
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, like even if in the same sex marriage options, you have the ability to like adopt a baby and stuff. So even like that option is there that you don't really see too often in games. And I don't know, I just love like just the different options that they give you in Stardew Valley.
Huh. Yeah, another game I mean that's one probably out of all the ones we've talked about that I respect the hell out of. I probably will never play it because it's just not. I don't love life sims like that. Is that what they call them? Like the farming type games.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I know it's huge, and again, it's one of those. It, it's just beloved by by a very strong fandom of people.
I've put so much time into that game. I'm really worried about how much I'll love Haunted Chocolatier when it comes out.
See, I want Haunted Chocolatier to be cool, but I think it's going to be such a different vibe.
Yeah, that's
I
kind of
don't.
where I'm worried about.
Yeah, I don't think it will vibe with the same people, but I'm sure it'll be good. He seems to be doing this like I'm gonna push it back. I mean, early on this year we heard that it wasn't coming this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like they quickly were like, nope, needs more time, and everyone's like, okay.
Yeah, and he just keeps adding stuff to Stardew Valley, so just I mean, God, the game's been around and it feels like forever now. Like
Mhm.
well over I think a decade. I don't know when the game came out, but yeah, it's kind of like in the same vein as No Man's Sky. It's like you could stop, you could work on something else. You don't have to keep putting stuff out for this game.
It is. It does just kind of stick around. Every once in a while, you'll hear about it, and I'm like, really? They're doing more? Okay. I'm sure people love it. Well, I think we're at 9.
Number 9.
Okay. I have an idea for your number 10, and I want to, when we get to it, I want to know if it's what you are planning. And if not,
Okay.
I'm going to be like, what the hell are you thinking? But we'll talk about it. That's going to be
Okay.
fun. But 9 is one that, again, has to go on the list. I have mentioned it earlier. But so Alan put Life is Strange True Colors. I put Life is Strange Double Exposure. But we kind of just want to touch upon Life is Strange as a franchise. Life is Strange obviously started with the story of Max and Chloe, who kind of in a similar vein to the Gone Home plot there. Max, your player character, idolizes Chloe, really just has this fall in love with her friendship that can grow into something more romantic. And with the fans, it certainly did. I mean, you have the ability at the end of that game to choose to either spoilers for Life is Strange 1, but you can either let the city be saved, your town be saved by continuing the time loop of Chloe getting killed as she was in the beginning of the game, or you can leave the town with Chloe, let the town get destroyed, and live out your lesbian dreams of adventure with your new confidant. And that's pretty much what we all chose. anyone anyone who's anyone chose the Chloe ending because it just sounded right. Fuck everyone in your hometown. And so then it kind of continued, and Life is Strange 2 didn't have these characters. It was more of a it was about two brothers and their bond together. And then Life is Strange True Colors was the technically third season. Though I will say that Before the Storm is about Chloe and a girl that she was infatuated with named Rachel Amber before she met Max. And they had, I believe, a romantic relationship. If not, people will get mad at me, but I'm fairly certain that that is what happened there. And yeah, True Colors, I don't entirely know why Alan put it there, and I wish that I had Alan's conversation concepts of why they had it. I've played True Colors. It was a while ago, and I want to say that either the protagonist or one of the characters is non-binary, and it touches upon that, that in their life. But I hate to just say, hey, that's that game. Here's my game. But Double Exposure, a game that a lot of people skipped out on, a lot of people were very upset about because, in so many words, Max is now grown up. She and Chloe have had a falling out, whether it's that she is dead or that they broke up. It kind of touches upon that, but it's more like, hey, Chloe's not in this game. She existed, but she doesn't anymore. And now you have these new characters who, again, you can have romantic feelings for. I mean, it's if you are on the timeline of Double Exposure and Reunion, as I am, and continuing to stick with Life is Strange, the relationship that you can have with Amanda, who is the bartender in town, is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in a video game. Like, I think it's just the way that it plays out, the way that they're like flirting that turns into something more is just, it's so like naturally works, and it just like it's just such a great story. And unfortunately it doesn't always work out. And then Reunion came along, and Chloe returned, and now you have this other romantic option again. Do you wish to even let her back into your life? Do you wish to become a couple again? And it's always, I mean, I know that I've talked about how this this franchise really just exists from a romantic standpoint. That is not the whole point of the game. But it is always there. It's always a thing. And I think that that's really why like this community has taken it under their wing, because it's a coming of age story. It goes from high school into adulthood over the years, and it really just follows along with those feelings of feeling a type of way about a person, and it's just like really well made. But the biggest reason that I had Double Exposure on there is because of a character named Gwen that they brought into this series as just a brand new character, a teacher at the school that Max works at, a trans person played by a trans person, undoubtedly the greatest character in the whole game. Like the character arc that they have is just so interesting and the ways that like the mystery goes with them, and the choices that you can make that leads to the endings that you can have with them. um I just, it's hard to explain it to someone who hasn't played it. But I think I nominated them as a best character in our game of the year discussion. And so like you could go and listen to when it was a lot fresher in my mind, um, that episode. If not, we might have put them in our top three. But yeah, having that character there as like the icing on the cake of Life is Strange being a great like queer franchise, I I just thought it was fantastically done, and it rivaled the representation in Tell Me Why of like, oh, this is the shit that this person goes through, and this is like the, you know, the people, their coworkers not liking them as much, and people having problems with the way that they live, and like it's really fascinating to have that story be put into a video game that is narrative heavy and you play it out. So I can never give enough kudos to Double Exposure. I've been wanting to write an article since I played Reunion about how I think that you should pick one or the other. Like, Reunion does not feel like a worthy follow up to Double Exposure. I think if you want to have an ending to Max's story, you should pick one or the other. Reunion feels like a fan fiction ending. And personally, it kind of ruined the storyline that we were on track for with Double Exposure. Um, I I prefer Exposure, but yeah, that's that's where I'm at. I think Life is Strange is one of the most important series in gaming that we have in terms of its gameplay in general, with being a narrative like adventure game, and the story that it has to tell. It's huge. Going to gaming conventions and seeing, through merchandise, through art, through cosplay, through just the way that people talk about these games, like it touched so many people, and I think that it deserves to be on this list as just one of the bastions of queer gaming.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, the only Life is Strange I've played is the first season, and then like the prequel to two that was it Captain Awesome or something like that.
Yeah, Captain Spirit.
And yeah, Captain Spirit. And like I'm still aware of like all the representation throughout the series, and I think that's really awesome that they've kind of stuck by that. But I feel like the Life is Strange series like kind of took the torch from Telltale when they were starting to flounder, and they're just like, no, we got this. Like you figure out what you guys are doing, and we'll just take it from there. And they've just continued to put out solid games. It almost felt like yearly, but I don't think it is. Um, Double Exposure, I need to get to that because, like I said, I did play Max's story in the first one, so
Mhm.
I would love to see kind of like where that all finishes up.
Yeah, it is interesting how you can go from like, you could go, I would recommend Before the Storm if you want more of like the season 1 stuff,
Mm.
but from 1 to Double Exposure or from 1 to Reunion, like you can skip over the other stuff, but you're gonna get this like really interesting, uh the focus on not even just like queer issues, but season 2 I adore because of how it really touches on like minority issues. Like,
Mm.
main characters are Latino. I wish I knew exactly what they are, but they are Hispanic, and it starts with like an altercation in which their dad gets shot and they have to go on the run, and it might get shot by police if I'm thinking correctly. And so that kind of kicks things off, and like there's just a lot of um just focus on their, like how they're treated by strangers, how they're welcomed by strangers, like just kids on the run that have come together like because they are just strays in general, and like the just this sense of community with being outcasts. And season 2 is my it may be my favorite Life is Strange product. It's so deep in how it's done, and it has like this really fascinating brotherly bond to it that I just love. It's akin to like the first Walking Dead season, where you have like this smaller character that listens to you and is shaped by you, and you kind of have to be the better person so that you can be a good example for them. Um, just really cool in how that's done. And I mean, you go through all of it. There's autistic characters in Life is Strange. There's, like I said, non-binary characters. There's all different types of people. There's, it's just it's so diverse. And it touches on mental health. It touches on self-harm. It touches on abuse. There's so many things in that franchise that are the dark parts of life, but they're real. And that can be tough for people, because to a lot of people video games are escapism, and we don't want to be living out harsh realities. But I think that the characters are so well made that you can really appreciate what it's trying to tell you, and see it through their eyes. And it's been very eye-opening playing Life is Strange games.
I really need to get around just playing all of them, just like bite the bullet and just do it. Especially since every year I feel like it's on the our game of the year list somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I kicked Reunion around this year. I'm like, I don't know, it's not getting the Game of the Year nomination, but I mean, it's not awful. It's just I think it exists for certain people that wanted certain things to happen, and I don't know if I'm that person.
Do you think
But
you would have liked it more if Double Exposure didn't come out?
absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. If I was given this game instead of Double Exposure, I would have honestly maybe been like, "Oh, look, Chloe's back. Oh, everybody's here. Oh, the people that should be here." But I mean, which is weird, because Reunion does rely on knowing stuff from Double Exposure. That's what stinks, is you do
Huh.
have to, like, know the story, but it does a recap at the beginning so much that you could just skip it. I think it should, if you're gonna do Reunion, you should just skip Double Exposure, because those characters and the character arcs frankly don't carry over well enough that you feel like your choices meant anything.
Jeez.
So it's really rough to say that, but hopefully I will at some point get around to writing out my feelings on all of that. But hey, what is pick number 10?
Number 10. Well, I'm curious what you think should go here.
Well, I think knowing knowing about queer people online, I think that Undertale should show up on this list.
Okay, I could see that. So let me tell you the cheat that I had that I don't know if you'd be down for. But it was basically just games with creative characters. Not necessarily like anything to do with the story itself. It was just the idea of creative characters in games where you could pick their identity.
That's
Um,
good. Supportive character creation.
yeah, in a way that, like, yes, this, like, trying to fully embrace like who a person is. And the thing that kind of made me start thinking of that way was, ironically enough, South Park: The Fractured But Whole, because it
Bro,
allows you to pick a transgender character.
we mentioned this briefly in the last episode.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, like it's such a good that I like more your idea of, like, touching on the idea in general, but I think that Fractured Butthole did really damn good with it, because you have the ability to be totally non-binary, right?
I think so. I haven't actually played the game, but I remember that being in something that could be done, with the creative character. And then they also had stuff with like the token black character, and the game being harder and stuff, and like doing like really weird, unique stuff with that sort of thing. So I wasn't sure like how it played out if you picked, non-binary, transgender, whatever. But yeah, like I don't know. I just like the idea of like create a character options that like fully embrace the idea of like, yes, make you, make whoever you identify as. Maybe it doesn't have a huge role in the story as a whole, and maybe like romance options are not a big thing in this game. But we want you to have a character that you feel like fully defines who you are. And so like I don't know a ton of games that do that. I feel like if it is, it's usually like some sort of big RPG sort of game. But I don't know. I think that's pretty cool to have those options in the games, and so that's kind of where I was leaning for my like special cheat code in this in this list.
Yeah, I like that. And one I'm gonna pull one out of the hat that is super out of left field, and I know it's touchy. Bear with me, but I have like three people at work that are all of a sudden playing Hogwarts Legacy, and I have heard through them. I played it when it came out. I rented it. I would not give money to that shit, and I think they're it was given away for free through Epic. So like it's the best way to try this game. But they have reminded me, and I hope that this is fully true, that your character creation doesn't really care about gender in any way. Like you can kind of just I don't know if there's like sliders or what goes on there, but like there's no real like choice and you can just kind of do your own thing. And I think for especially a property that is so in the trans culture
Yeah.
for many reasons, um, I think it's big that like the studio of that game and the developers of that game, there was a lot of pushback, a lot of blowback about just making more Harry Potter content.
Yeah.
But a lot of good people did work on that game. A lot of people that do not agree with this shit are um put their passion into that game and made like a really cool game. Um and so I think that having things like that that feel like subtle fuck yous to uh, problematic peoples is really cool. It's just a nice little touch to have there.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that in Hogwarts. But yeah, that dev they had it rough because I'm sure they got pushback from both sides, not just like the fans and the idea of that they're involved with that property, but then from probably the creator themselves, like very much not wanting them to do that.
You're making money, like just shut up and sit down.
Hmm.
but but she will not. But yeah, in general, it's a great thing to be able to make. I mean, I think there's both ways. There's a great thing in not having a care to it and just being like, I am who I am. I'm just a random person. I as a as a man, I have always enjoyed when a game has you play as a woman because it's just
Yep.
like, you know what, fuck it, we're playing this game. A game's a game, and I don't think that. I mean, we've been doing this since Tomb Raider and probably earlier. Like, yeah, you're playing as a woman. That's it. Tomb Raider's a bad example because she was over sexualized to make people like us play it. But
Yeah.
that's not my point. Um, but like, yeah, you Perfect Dark. We'll use Perfect Dark. um, but then there's also like, oh no, this is heavily customizable. You can be whatever the hell you want to be. You can spend all this time making you, and even just things like I have a masculine like looking character, but I can use a feminine voice for it. Like that's a cool thing. That's a
Yeah.
cool progressive thing that we can do in games now,
Mhm.
and it's just all neat. So I really like that you pointing that out.
Yeah, I think it's just something that like we as straight, cisgender men kind of take advantage. I don't want to say take advantage of, but uh, I'm blanking on the term, but just like it's so normal for us to be able to go in there and just play as someone who best represents us.
Yeah.
That's easy to forget. Like there are people out there that aren't like us. That it's not just women. It's you know people of different races, people of different identities, and being able to like go into a Mass Effect game, and I love to play as like an ideal version of myself. I'm
Mhm.
sure they would too. And so having games that allow those options, I think is really great, and I hope just continues to snowball into like more and more possibilities for these people to have um, more opportunities to put themselves into the games that we've always been able to.
Yeah, it's checking your privilege in a way where like
Yes.
you just eh, I mean, no, this is what you were saying. Like it's so easy to you're not realizing until you are told to realize it. And for lack of a better word, being woke on this issue where like, oh, you're right, there aren't a lot of girls in games, or there aren't like queer people in this game, and people will shit on it because, oh no, your Fear Effect characters are kissing, oh god. But it's like, oh, like being somebody that is like that in real life, it's cool to be able to see that. And like, not to bring up like Dustborn again, but Dustborn is a game with a lot of diverse characters. And when I first played it, I thought that was really interesting because I went into it not with the attitude of I'm being angry at these people, but I remember there was a booth for it at PAX, and I tried the demo, and they gave a little physical manual type thing when you were standing in line, and you could look at the story and you could look at the character models and stuff. And I remember looking at one of them and being like, this is, yes, it's a plus size woman, but they had vitiligo. And I was like, that's
Hmm.
such a, like, that, what other game has that? like, to be someone with that condition and to see a character representing you, like, it's little things like that. It means the world to them. And it, it's the whole issue we had when like Princess and the Frog came out. People were all pissed about it. It's like, yeah, but to be a little black girl and see finally a princess that is like you, like
Hmm.
these little things that change everything. And then you grow up with that thing. And I mean, having been the age just about of the characters of Life is Strange when that game came out, like there's probably people my age that grew up with those games, and they learned like more about themselves because of these characters that lived like them. And that's so cool to see that games can be that media for them as well. And I don't know. It always comes back to, I hate that people are mad about shit like this. Like what?
Yeah.
I can't fathom being a person that is mad about shit like this because who gives a fuck? Why are you mad that things aren't the way you want to be when there are people so happy things are finally the way they want to be? And
Exactly.
like just, oh, it's so irritating.
Yeah, those same people are probably, if they were to roll by this podcast episode, probably rolling their eyes, and be like, "Oh God, here's a woke podcast."
Oh no. Oh, well, I had considered going into like this giant rant at the end and being like, oh, I'd, like th- trying to. I mean, it's kind of like what I did with the double exposure spoiler cast. Like, I had a little thing to say about just keep fighting the good fight and whatnot, and like we're staring down the barrel of a week where they banned women and trans women in sports again, or whatever the hell that executive order was. And it's like, there are things that we need to talk about, there are things we need to mention, but like, it don't don't fucking give up is the biggest thing. Because like, especially in terms of I'm not getting on a tangent, I promise, but I love that like art art is inherently anti-fascist is like a thing that I have been learned like really holding dear for many years. And like art will always be there for you, whether it's a film or a TV show or the music you listen to or video games. There are people out there like you that want to make good things that you can enjoy. And I think that I thought that making a list like this would be important. So someone out there might look to it and say, "Oh, these are some games that I know will have people like me in them, or will be cool for someone with like-minded individuals to go and check out." And I'm not saying it to be preachy. I'm not trying to, tell you that you have to love these games because of what they represent. But I mean, frankly, if the list is making you upset, we don't want you here. we're VGU has always been staunchly left leaning, and we're not afraid to say that. So like, yeah, fuck it. We have a cool list of cool games that we wanted to talk about, made by cool people for cool people, and and I hope that's what we did here today.
I like to think so. I know you really wanted to push it for like Pride Month, but in all honesty, like I'm totally fine with this coming out any time of the year because they deserve recognition and acknowledgement any time of year, not just once, in a month in particular.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I hope we continue to draw attention to games like this and, movements to help communities like this because, they live with us. They deserve the same luxuries and happiness and rights and all of that sort of stuff. And I hate the idea that people like continually push back on people who are just trying to live their life and are just a little different. Just choose to love somebody who isn't who you think they should love based on what they identify as or what body parts you may share or not share. And it's it's gross. Just mind your business. Let these people be treated like everybody else. And yeah, I listen to so much like political YouTube channels and stuff, and I just get my blood just boils listening to like people call in and like just regurgitate the nastiest, vile, just opinions and stuff, and just makes me mad that these people exist, even when they can't like back up anything that they believe with any sort of like evidence or rationale or anything logic. It's so infuriating.
Yeah. I mean, without like getting into it all crazy, like it's just like, especially with this side of arguments that people on the wrong side have, a lot of it boils down to religion. A lot of it boils down
Yep.
to bringing, and quite frankly, you're never going to change their minds. Like this is a movement that keeps going. It has kept going since I forget when Stonewall was, but like the 70s, maybe 60s, really when it really came out the gate. Um, and like it keeps going. It doesn't. This train doesn't stop moving, and you just you wait until these people aren't around anymore, and and you will still be there. I don't want to say we will still be there, but as an ally, we'll still be there. Um, and so it just sucks. I mean, the biggest thing you like I said, you can't argue, you can't really change minds. But I think what's interesting is, especially with video games, like you are put in the perspective of these of people like this, and I think that's like the most uh adjacent way to really learn about these experiences, especially when there's something like a Celeste, which is like, this is my story. I'm really mirroring my experience, and now you can play it in a way, and you can see through the eyes of a video game the things that I've gone through and the things I've experienced. and like it's more immersive than even a movie or a documentary about gay people or whatever. Like you're getting it. I think the video games are so cool in that way. So if you have ever wanted to be more understanding of issues like this and be a better LGBTQ plus ally, perhaps check out games that we have put on this list because that there's a lot of great stories to tell. Plus, like other consoles and the consoles storefronts have lots of different like sales and things for queer gaming, queer voices in gaming, whether it's the developers themselves or the stories of the games. Like, not to shout out Xbox at this point in time for anything, but they had a big Pride sale going on, and it was full of games that I didn't even think would be there. Like, one of Alan's picks was Borderlands 3, I think, or maybe Borderlands in general. And I was like surprised, but all the Borderlands were on sale. And it was like, oh, okay. I guess that is I don't totally know why because I haven't played them, but I guess there's some good representation in there. And yeah, it's just these things are out there. These pieces of art are out there because someone knows that they're important and made them and got their story out there. And that's the best way to be a part of things and to protest. That's good too. Well,
Yeah, I'm glad that you decided to go with this as like the first episode because yeah, I think just drawing more attention to these games is fantastic. And I know that there's going to be plenty more that will be coming out that I'm sure we'll talk about, come Game of the Year or even on Players Clubs and stuff.
yeah. Oh yeah. And Emmett's really good at finding games of this nature as well. I know that Emmett always has a thing like, if I can play as a girl, I'm playing as the girl. Like, that's always like his mantra, and I like that. It's trying something different. It's seeing a different experience than what you're used to.
Yeah, like I said, like if it's like a game where it's like all about choices and stuff, I'll put myself. Anything else, I will make myself typically a woman. I don't care if I'm black or Asian or whatever. Like, I don't want to play as a man typically. So yeah, like having more options is always great.
Yeah. Before we go, I just wanted to hear what the other pick that you had was.
Actually, those were all of them, if I remember.
Oh, really?
Right. Yep. Yeah, because you stole two of mine, and Celeste had gone home.
True. Yeah. No, that worked out well.
So Stardew, I just kind of like was one that I did not have on the list, and I just kind of came up as you were talking about it, gone home.
Nice. Yeah, my only other pick that I kind of had was Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and like it was only because I really like how they handled the Mary Reed character. Did you play Black Flag?
I did. It's been a long time though. I don't remember it very well.
I looked up Mary Reed to see if she was trans, and she's not. Like, it's just like, so I was like, oh, then you're not really like a queer person. I'm not going to talk about you on the list. But what I liked about it was she dressed up as a man to be taken more seriously amongst like this man-driven pirate community. And Edward, your main character, like always saw through that and really saw her as the woman that she was. And like I thought it was kind of a trans thing. And then I was like, oh no, it's not. Like I looked it up for historical accuracy and like no. But I like to think that Edward Kenway would be a trans ally if given the opportunity in the 1500s of piracy or whatever it was.
Yeah, I was going through a list as I was like coming up with things, I was like looking through a list of LGBTQ characters in games. And I'm like, okay, this one has it, but it doesn't really like, it's not a big focus on it. And then a whole bunch of games I've never played and ones I don't really remember very well. I didn't really want to speak on. So I was like, okay, I'll stick with these ones. I'm good with these.
Yeah, I think they were good picks, and I want to say that like I think we're good to talk about the ones we did because we're such indie freaks. But then you mentioned Life is Strange, so like no, you mentioned what the fuck is it called?
The Last of Us.
Last of Us, yes. Like you brought literally a first party game, a AAA game into it, so like we covered all the bases here.
Yeah, it'll be nice if we could include more first party big time games in these lists.
Hey, we're trying. I feel like I don't know, it got me thinking like Xbox type things. Is the girl from Gears of War 5 might be lesbian.
I haven't played it, so I
can't
tell
guarantee
you.
that, but I haven't played Gears of War 5 either. But I don't know. The God of War.
I mean, technically, Fallout's now a Microsoft first party game.
That's true.
Maybe not for much longer, but
Oh my goodness, that was crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's always something there, but there's a part in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like you can be a part of like a big gay orgy, I think. Did you play Odyssey?
I have not. No.
This part might get cut, but I think there's definitely like there's characters you come across and like you'll do no pun intended, where you'll have like side missions.
I don't want you to cut this now. After that pun, it has to stay.
You'll have these side quests and it'll be like go out and hunt this bear, and then you'll do it, and then at the end they'll be like you want to fuck, and you're like okay, I don't care which way you're swinging, I'll go whatever. And I swear there's one where like you come across a guy and there's like he like kind of opens the door and like you can tell you don't see anything going on back there, but like you can tell that the energy is sexual, and he like invites you in. I swear to God this happens. But it's like your character's just like, you know what, whatever, because you can be a guy or a girl in that game as like your main hero, and either way you can do anything. Anything went in Greece. Ancient Greece. God, get us out of here, Josh.
I don't even know how to go from there.
Do we end it with like an audio clip of him going, you just made the list?
we might have to do that. But okay, so let's at least go over the list because I wasn't marking them down as we went through them. So number 1, we had Fallout, the Fallout series, but specifically New Vegas from the sounds of it.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 was Mother 3. Tell Me Why. Fear Effect 2 Retro Helix. Number 5 was Celeste. Then the Last of Us series. Gone Home. Stardew Valley at 8. The Life is Strange series, Double Exposure in particular, for 9. And then 10 was the create a character that fully represents who you are, to round out our list.
You just made the list.
I love it.
I'm pretty happy with that list.
Yeah. It feels like it covers a bit of everything. I'm happy with that.
A little bit of everything, a little bit of multiple kind of eras.
And genres.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Little FPS, little life sim, why not? Everything's there. Happy Pride, everyone.
Yep, and that's not even touching on games like The Sims and whatnot that I'm sure a lot of that could fit into also.
Yeah. Yeah, anything where you can just kind of do whatever. It's all there. It's out there. Well,
I guess I'll take us home, and I don't know what my sign off or anything would be for this, but I was gonna say thanks for listening. Like, subscribe. I don't know what people do nowadays with podcasts. Just share it around. Let people know that we are making the list over here on VGU. And yeah, hopefully you like this one, and we'll check out future lists we make. I am Josh Miller. Green, do you have anything you would like to say before you head out?
No, I'm happy that I got to be on the inaugural show, and I think the next one that I wanted to do had to do with Summer Games Fest, so maybe we'll do that. But I don't know. These kind of won't have like a. This isn't going to be like weekly or monthly. It's just kind of random as we think of them. So expect these here and there. And yes, please do subscribe. This is probably going in the Prime VGU podcast feed and probably also on the YouTube. So follow us wherever podcasts are sold, and we've got more coming your way.
Yeah, and I think if we can get enough of these under our belt, maybe we can put this as like its own separate feed on the pod, like on podcasts.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It could be a case where we just never find time to do this one either, but we'll see.
God, don't set us up for failure like that.
I just tried to set my expectations a little bit lower than I probably should. That says more about me than anything else.
You're like, I will not be on another one ever again.
Well, with that, I hope you all take care, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
You just made the list!